Okay, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down one of the most important factors when it comes to your go-to-market or growth, from if you're just getting off the ground to really any stage, but typically Series A, Series B, for your go-to-market approach, and then also finding and solidifying product market fit, right? And so maybe you already have a couple of offerings or products or services that are running, but when you do introduce one that is new, these are some key fundamentals that we personally follow at our firm. And I'll go ahead, I'll break these down for you live and just whiteboard it out. I have another video like this that would be good to watch after, which it's similar style, where I'm just breaking down what actually makes good, relevant cold emails, and finding that balance, or basically working that calculation of offer times volume with cold email. Now, when it comes to go to market, there are three main variables that you're solving for. One of those is going to be offer market fit. I'll break all these down for us as we go. So, one of them is going to be offer market fit, the other is going to be message market fit. And then last but not least is going to be channel market fit. And this is for solving for your go-to-market. So this is solving for your go-to-market product market fit. There's obviously things of how the product is actually constructed that matter to product market fit that we will get into somewhat in this video, but this is more so about solving for your business development side of product market fit. Some people call this offer message fit because that's essentially what is required to generate new front end cold traffic. Now, when it comes to product market fit, some signs here would be: do you at least have 10 paying customers on your roster? From those 10 paying customers, are they referring their friends, naturally talking about your product in a positive light, not just because they were your first customers because you already knew them, but do they actually genuinely believe in the product? Do they utilize it, and they naturally refer others? That's typically a good indicator for early days. Also, when it comes to your closer math, if you're closing from 10 to 20%, this is going to vary on ticket size and the type of audience you're selling to. But most of the time, ability to close at least 10 to 20%. If you're average account executive, that's a good benchmark to target as well. And then also too with the outbound that you are running. General rule of thumb, if you're just talking about cold email as a channel, 2% reply rates across the board for every reply that's coming back. 25% of those should at least be moving to a call. Those are kind of some early, just high level benchmarks I can share with you. But I want to go and get into each component and each variable here because I do speak with a lot of early stage founders, and even some of our clients about this stuff. And so I thought it would be helpful for me to just break it down live on a YouTube video. Oftentimes we end up talking about this on my calls with you guys if you book one below. So I'll go ahead and get into it right here. So offer market fit, what are we actually looking for here? Now, this is the simplest way that I like to explain this is it's the actual statement in a quantitative form of what it is that you do. So to give you the framework that I utilize the most is we help, or it's better if you can use past tense and actually use a real example, but we helped similar company achieve X within X days. And this right here, this first X is going to be the desired result, right? So that could be new sales. You can like typically it's going to be new sales, right? Or it's like removing some type of risk, saving time, but most of the time it's new business or reduction in risk. So we help similar company achieve desired results within time frame without pain point or burden. So I like to typically use like the two main issues or blockers they're going to have, or just the pain points and burden. So if I'm essentially selling somebody on go-to-market or cold email, um, hey, we helped a similar company achieve, 20 new sales meetings within 30 days without hiring additional SDRs or spending, having the founder spend time on outreach or sales, maybe something like that, right? That's just a high level example. Um, and letting them know something about we can do the same for you slash another relevant question. And I have other videos on the actual copywriting and messaging to use. But what you're looking here for offer market fit is that offer statement piece in the actual email. Is this going to be an outcome that your ICP that you're targeting actually wants and actually desires, right? Don't try to overcomplicate offer in terms of getting this into um, putting a page in front of them, like with a cold email. Cold email, the main goal here is just to elicit a positive response. And then typically the call is going to be automatic after that. Not everybody is going to book, but this is mainly what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to message market fit, this also ties in closely to targeting. Okay. So I'm speaking about most of this from a cold outbound perspective, but this is also true when it comes to paid traffic. So like if we use meta ads, for example, right? With the Andromeda updates that have occurred, you don't necessarily have to touch much when it comes to the actual settings of the ad account in terms of, okay, we're going to go after people in Tennessee that are this age range. And of course, sometimes you do make those changes. But most of the time, the targeting is just coming from what is in the actual creative, right? So this ties into message market fit within cold email as well, right? So if you have an offer, like let's say we have an offer that was targeting, let's say, vet practitioners, like vets. So it's targeting vets, clinics, right? So with message market fit, one, is my list actually accurate? One, is the list actually right? So does the list like quite literally contain vets, right? Veterinarians? And then two is that um, I don't know why it's doing that, but two, messaging is relevant and industry specific. Okay. So what's important here is that if we're, let's say, targeting, vet clinics, is the language being used actually something that a veterinarian is going to recognize? Like let's say they're the business owner, for example. Is the language that we're using, or the data, or the reports that we're sharing, is it actually relevant to them as a prospect? Like you want to, if you're targeting vet clinics, you wouldn't be using the same language that you would be using if you were targeting, infrastructure projects in the UK for oil and gas pipeline development. It's just totally two different ecosystems, and so you have to use different industry benchmarks. They're going to care about different things with this, and so this is really the majority of what you're looking for here when it comes to offer market fit, message market fit. Now, some ways of testing for this to actually find is you can create a cross, matrix where the two main components of a cold email are going to be one, what the offer is, and then two, what the CTA is. And these both work within offer market fit and message market fit. But most cold emails, if you look at them, it's typically some type of, first name, if they're good, first name, we helped, company XYZ do XYZ and resulted in XYZ, relevant industry, language, and then relevant question that gets them to self-select or or hand raise. I'll just say hand raise or hand raise, right? That's kind of general framework of a solid cold email. But when it comes to actually testing for this, is you can take this section right here. It's a terrible circle. And then you can take this section right here and you can test between both of them, right? And so you could take this and you could draw a matrix where you would have your offers. I'm going to have to type this out, but you would have offers up here, right? And then you would have your CTAs down here. And then you would want to run the math and run the numbers on how many sends that you're making. Does it take us to get to an AR or affirmative response? And then how many affirmative responses does it take us to get to a call schedule? And so now you'll very easily be able to look. And if you're a client, or if you've watched some of my other videos where we've run breakdowns of this, you'll be able to see very clearly that, okay, this campaign, 2.3 resulted in the best ratios for sends to affirmative responses to calls scheduled. So that's a signal that, okay, we have some offer market fit, we have some message market fit there. Um, and that's, what one of the examples of finding a winning campaign. And then you can go about scaling that with additional channels, right? So that makes a good natural transition into channel market fit. Channel market fit is exactly what it sounds like. For some offers and some messaging, different channels are going to work better, right? This also depends on your ICP, like the actual person that you are selling to. And so, for example, if you were trying to get in contact with service providers, like let's say your HVAC guys, if you're trying to get in contact with them, they're not that responsive over LinkedIn. Some of them don't even have LinkedIn and they don't care about it, right? But if you're looking to get in touch with somebody who's maybe in the finance space or private credit, banking, they're probably on LinkedIn. They, might be relatively active there, right? Or, if someone's in business development, they're on LinkedIn, quite a bit, right? So that's a better channel if you're targeting those buyers, that type of ICP, right? In terms of channel market fit, the way that we approach it with solving from a go-to-market perspective is starting with cold email because the data is going to be the cleanest. It's also like the fastest and most economical if you're testing for these types of things. So start with that. And then once you've solved for, okay, this offer is working, this type of messaging is working for us, then you want to scale that to additional channels, right? So for this, you're looking to start with cold email, outbound. Then once you solve for that, typically what the next step is taking that to, it's still cold outbound, but you're taking that to LinkedIn DMs, and it's also outbound motion, and they typically read the same, right? Cold email, LinkedIn, somewhat similar. Then from that, you can scale that up to paid. So this could be bottom of funnel Google, plus meta ads plus retargeting. Meta ads. So this is where you're taking, keywords that would be, bottom of funnel, people looking to already buy the solution, or they're already, problem aware and they're looking for a solution. Plugging that in with retargeting ads, and then also just ads from Meta, and you can set certain things up with pixels to help with tracking that and helping with the retargeting. And then, of course, like content is something that you should already be posting regardless. Our clients that get the best results, they're clients that already have, like maybe they're not huge, but they already have some brand recognition out there. They already have strong reviews. They already have people that are talking about them, and they're already putting an effort into uh, building their brand, posting content, these different things that are required to build awareness, right? And so when it comes to channel market fit, starting off with cold email, scaling that up to LinkedIn, and I actually forgot one here is that cold calling, still technically outbound. That's what this process looks for a lot of our clients is starting with cold email, and then we plug in cold plus warm calling as well, because some people will respond to emails, but they won't necessarily convert into a actual call scheduled unless you actually call them, right? So cold email, cold calling, LinkedIn DMs to add in additional channel, then looking to add in paid, bottom of funnel, Google and meta ads. The general rule of thumb here, and Alex Hormozy has spoken on this before, is that if the ticket size is larger, so if the ACV is, typically above 10K, is where I like to benchmark it. These channels are going to work better. Gosh, dude, I'm killing it with the circles today. But these channels are typically going to work better for higher ACV. And then these down here, content is good for both, but the paid is going to work better for lower ACV. So that's if you have a lower ticket either lead magnet, or you have a lower ticket just product in general, like a 97 to maybe it kind of caps out at like 4 to 5K. It can work for anything, but if you're thinking like most offers, like lower ACV is going to work better for that paid traffic, right? So I'll cut it there. We're already at 17 minutes. I have a couple other relative videos that I will paste below that will be beneficial. They're still, whiteboard style where I'm talking through this so you can understand it at a thesis level perspective. But this will be helpful for you if you're, early, just getting off the ground, or even if you're already at Series A, Series B stage, and you're implementing some type of new product or new service line. This is the approach that I would follow with finding offer market fit, message market fit, channel market fit. And this goes into the entire equation of solving for product market fit. So all that I ask is just be sure that you subscribe, and then also share this video with somebody that would benefit from it. And I do appreciate the support, and I will talk to you soon.